Yo, what up, guys? How's it going? Welcome back to the Dubs Only podcast. We're going to be doing a reaction video after this Los Angeles Chargers versus Kansas City Chiefs game. And just off the bat, this is the first win that the Chargers have had over the Chiefs in 4 years. This is Justin Herbert's second win against Patrick Mahomes. And speaking from a Chargers fan perspective, coming into this game, it was a big prove-it game. It was a big opportunity for the Chargers and for Justin Herbert, because the last time that we saw this team was in Houston. I saw that game personally live. I was there, got a ticket, made the drive to Houston. It was an ugly game. Justin Herbert had easily, I would say, his worst game in his career, throwing 4 interceptions. The whole team itself, especially on offense, did not have a great game. Defense did show up, but the offense wasn't there, especially Justin Herbert. So the way that we saw the Chargers last was big, bitter taste in the mouth. But if you look at it in hindsight, it was more of last year was the rebuild year. It wasn't supposed to. We kind of went ahead of schedule, and this year was going to be the year that we make the progression to make the playoffs. Well, now coming into this game against the Kansas City Chiefs in Week 1, an international game, all eyes were on Justin Herbert to see how he was respond. If you haven't watched the media or seen the tweets, everyone has been bashing or just talking negatively of Justin Herbert, and rightfully so. Like I mentioned, he had easily his worst game of his career the last time we saw him. So coming into this game, Herbert just needed to have a solid game. He didn't have to go stellar to what he had, and we're going to go into those stats right in a bit. But he needed to come out with the win, show that, hey, I still am that guy. And he did exactly that. We're going to go to those stats right now. He had over 300 passing yards, and he had 3 touchdowns. And we're just going to talk about the arm first, because the legs afterwards, we're going to get into that later. But let's talk about that. Justin Herbert was able to spread the ball around. What was the one thing that Justin Herbert didn't have last year? Had little to none. It was his playmakers. It was his receiving core. He didn't really have anyone on offense that he could throw to other than Ladd McConkey. You had Quentin Johnson, who had a pretty solid bounce back year 2, but he was still making the same plays of where he was dropping the ball. And as a first-round pick, you kind of wanted to see that progression for him to be more consistent at that, especially when the playoffs came. He had a couple of drop balls in that one, key moments that he wasn't able to fulfill or was able to just contribute at that time. But here in the offseason, what Joe Ortiz was able to do, he added depth into the wide receiver position with adding Keandre Lambert-Smith. He also added Trey Harris. You also bring back Keenan Allen. You bring a tight end, Tyler Conklin, to go along with Darius Davis, Ladd McConkey. You had Will Disley last year. So to those 3 players right there, you added a collection of pass catching receivers that can actually make separation, who can do yards out of the catch, who are able to make themselves be a threat. And that's exactly what we saw. You spread the ball around to I want to say all of his receivers besides Keandre Lambert-Smith. I don't think he had a reception, but Darius Davis was involved. You had Keenan Allen, who came back huge. And let's dive into that part of this game, the Keenan Allen effect. Last year, coming into it, he didn't have little to none help, like we just mentioned, and you could see the difference that an absence of Keenan Allen was, how big of a difference, or how obvious it was, because Ladd, he had a great season, but there's difference when you have a rookie compared to a veteran, to someone you had chemistry with, someone that you are very familiar with. So having Keenan Allen come back this offseason, especially after Mike Williams announced the retirement, Keenan Allen was able to be that security blanket that Justin Herbert always had when he started his career with the Chargers. And it was very evident today. He made key third down conversions, was able to get separation. I want to say he had like over 70 yards. I know he had over 20 fantasy points because I had him on my bench. And that might be the difference of me winning and losing. He had a touchdown in this one. So the chemistry between the two, it was evident that they didn't miss a beat at all. They did not miss a beat at all. There was one play where the ball just slightly missed Keenan Allen's hands, but as the game progressed, you could see that these two, they still had it. Did it take a couple plays Yeah, it did. But at the end of the day, these two know each other like the back of a hand. So that was a big thing, the Keenan Allen effect. Let's go to Ladd McConkey. Ladd McConkey again showing that what I did last year wasn't a fluke. I'm still the number one receiver. I'm still able to make a contribution in a big way. I'm still able to make key conversions, make key passes and key moments. I'm able to get the separation. I'm also a security blanket too. And to go into that kill Keenan Allen spew that we just did, having these two together, especially on the same side, it's gonna be dangerous in this going forward into the season, because you have two of the shiftiest route runners in the league. You have the knowledge that Keenan Allen is going to share with Ladd McConkey. Both of their play styles are somewhat similar, even though Ladd McConkey is a shorter player, a smaller player. The way they both play, the reliability on their route running, able to make certain cuts, able to read coverages, get into the zone, the soft pocket of a defense, they're somewhat similar in that aspect of their play style. So Ladd McConkey, he had a great game today. Like I mentioned, he was there for key moments. And I think just going forward, just having that veteran presence of Keenan Allen, it's just going to evolve his game even more and more. And we're going to see just how big of a contribution Keenan Allen is going to be to this team, not just on the stats-wise, but just being the veteran who's been there, done it. Not the highest level to win a Super Bowl, but but in the essence that he is a 13-year veteran, and he's seen multiple defenses, and he's been the top of the top. And another receiver that I want to get into is Quentin Johnston, the former first-round pick. This is his third year coming into this. Let's just go into the breakdowns of Quentin Johnston's first 2 years in the league. Being the 21st pick, I want to say in the 2021 draft, there is some huge expectations. 2022, actually, there are very huge. 2023. There are very big expectations of him coming into that team, contributing right away. You had Mike Williams, you had Keenan Allen right there. You had the new up and coming slot receiver or outside receiver, Mike Williams type role, and that just wasn't what he was. What could it be? Just the offenses didn't know, offensive OCs at the time or Kellen Moore at the time didn't know how to use him. Yeah, that could have been the thing. That is the thing of what we're looking right now. The moments that Quentin Johnston had, it was very. He just had a rough start to his career. The one thing that stands out when you think of Quentin Johnston is just the drop passes. And year two, he made huge progressions. He had a career high, second year, but he had multiple touchdowns. He had over 600, 700 receiving yards, I want to say. And he showed the flashes of that. There's a reason why he was that first round pick. There's either one that's going to be the burner to go downfield or just the one that's going to cross you up or route you up. No, he's the yak guy. He's the one that's going to give it to me in an open space and just watch me do work. And that was very evident on the first drive when he caught the ball and he was able just to go 30 yards right after that. And then today as well, he had two touchdowns, the key one that sealed it in the end. So just seeing Keenan Allen just from his first year, his second year, now this being his third year, this is the time where it's like, all right, Quentin, this is the prove a year. The first 2 years were great, or you were given grace. Now it's time to see the progression, to see that, hey, are you someone that we can put here on our team going into the future? And what a way to start the season, because Quentin Johnston, 2 touchdowns. Those 2 touchdowns were, especially the last one, which sealed the deal. Those just show me that he is evolving. He is understanding coverage. He is understanding that how to play the game in the NFL at the highest level. So going forward, I expect to see more, especially because you have Ladd McConkey and you have Keenan Allen. That's going to free you up a lot because they're going to put their third best corner on you. And if Quentin Johnston is able to show why he's that first round pick, why he was that former first round pick, then this is going to make this offense that much more dangerous and just take it to another level. Because you have before last year when it was just Ladd McConkey was a rookie and then you had to focus on. Now you have other players that are around, such as Ladd McConkey, Keenan Allen. You had the Trey Harris, who made a big time catch for second down conversion. Even though it was his only play that he contributed to, he still was able to make a contribution. You had Keandre Lambert-Smith, who showed how promising he can be in the preseason. You have Tyler Conklin, who made huge catches. Yeah, he had that fumble in the second or first quarter, in the first half, but he still showed that he's a downfield player as well. He's able to make catches and just be able to make himself available for Justin Herbert. So I just think that having all these weapons around, especially, I think just having all these weapons around, it's just gonna make life much more easier for Quentin Johnston. All right, let's flip on over to the Chiefs side, because coming into this game, it was a pretty big game for them as well, especially the way that their season ended last year in the Super Bowl, getting their ass kicked by the Eagles, honestly. And so for me, I wanted to see what Patrick Mahomes is going to do. How is he going to respond? Because once you lose a game like that, you kind of think, as coming from the opposing side, is there a chink in the armor? Could this be the beginning of the end of the dynasty? Are the Chiefs the same team? Those questions pop up if you're in the opposing team. And I don't know if the Chiefs probably don't think like that at all, because if you're a winner, you're a winner. But there may be some type of slight self-doubt in that. Is our time done? Because once that window closes, it closes good for good, unless you're Tom Brady or something like that. But once that window closes, it closes pretty much for good. But I want to say this. After watching this game, it's safe to say that Patrick Mahomes is still Patrick Mahomes. Now, the big thing that happened in this game with the Chiefs offense was they lost their number two receiver, their number two option, Xavier Worthy, in the first drive. He was going for a shallow route. Him and Travis Kelce collided. Xavier Worthy is a very light frame. I want to say 100, a $160, $170. That's not big in the NFL. Like, one big hit, and it could pretty much knock you out of the game. And that's exactly what happened in this one. If you look at the video, the way that these two collided, it looks like Worthy didn't see Kelce coming. Kelce was going out. I gotta look at the video, but the way that they did hit, and the way that Worthy did hit the floor, just the way that when he was hit in the interaction, you could tell that it did damage and that it was gonna hurt the team, and that the way he was on the ground, the way he was getting up, that this could be a significant injury going down the line. And this is already a depleted receiving core already, with Rashee Rice already missing the first couple of games to the season. So the thing was, who's going to step up? Because Kelce, this is his last year on a contract. We don't know if he's going to retire after this year. He hasn't said anything about that. The one thing that he did say during his press conference was, I'm just going to have fun. The shirt's looking loose, all this, that, gibberish. And there were moments the Kansas City receivers had that they just didn't convert. Hollywood Brown dropping a ball. Hollywood Brown, I mean, he did make up big in the fourth quarter when Patrick Mahomes laid out that crazy pass. But Thornton, he had that one great catch that one great catch. But there were other moments where he was going downfield and he just wasn't able to come through with it. So what's it gonna be like for this team going forward, knowing that you're probably not gonna have Xavier Worthy for some time. You're not gonna have Rashee Rice for some time. So who's gonna be that receiver to step up? Is it gonna be Juju Smith-Schuster? Is Hollywood Brown gonna make an appearance? Is Noah Gray gonna make an appearance? Is Kelce? Is he still gonna prove who he is? The player that he is. And there's one play in particular that I want to go into, which was the miscommunication. It was in the red zone between Mahomes and Kelce. Now, that play, Kelce was in the motion. He was making he was making a drag route. And the fact that, Derwin James was on the coverage, Derwin James passed it off because he thought another linebacker or another defender was going to be in the area, when in fact no one was there. It was a wide open pass, a touchdown right there for Kelce, but Kelce slowed down and you can see the frustration that Mahomes had on that. So, but in the end, I want to say they did score, not on that drive, but Kelsey did score. So you just want to see what's this team going to be like going forward, knowing that their receiving core has taken a hit. But even though the receiving core did take a hit, Patrick Mahomes is still Patrick Mahomes. We saw the crazy passes. We saw the creativity that he has, lying out like full body, barely like flicking in, was able to convert. Like I mentioned earlier, that Hollywood Brown pass. You also had the Kelsey with the fake screen pass. You had the one to Thornton. Like, Patrick Mahomes is still Patrick Mahomes, and as long as he's on the field, the Kansas City Chiefs do have a chance, and they will have a chance. So you just gotta respect that. You gotta honor that, and just going forward, is it something that we're gonna have to worry about, or the Chiefs are gonna have to worry about? We'll see, because at the end of the day, Patrick Mahomes is Patrick Mahomes, and the elite ones make their teammates better. All right, let's wrap this up now. We're gonna go into our final thoughts, and for the Chargers side, momentum for the Chargers, proving that they can beat the Kansas City Chiefs. This was a huge game. We mentioned it. This is the first time the Chargers has beaten the Kansas City Chiefs in 4 years. This is the second time that Herbert has beaten Mahomes. So just having that prove it to themselves that we can do it. All the games that they've lost to, they weren't blowouts. They were all one-score games. It all went down to the final drive. And the fact that the Chargers were able to stick it through, able to get punched in the mouth, able to respond by punching back, keep that lead, not be afraid of the moment, and just be able to stick to who they were and trust in the process of the play calling and understanding what was there at the helm and what was there, the opportunity that was there, and be able to take full advantage of. That is very big to start the season. So that's my final thoughts for the Chargers. Now for the Chiefs, my final thoughts are: this team is still dangerous. This team is still gonna pose a threat in the AFC and for the NFL and just in general. And they have a big, huge opportunity next week. It's a Super Bowl rematch with the Philadelphia Eagles at home. So we're gonna see, can the Chiefs? Because the Chiefs right now, the chink of armor is kind of getting a little more. There's now a little more of a crack in that armor. So we're gonna see: can the Chiefs be able to bounce back? Can they be able to prove to themselves, to the media, to the fans, to everyone in the NFL community that we're still the Kansas City Chiefs? We know how to win games, and at the end of the day, that's all that matters. It may come ugly, you may not like it, but hey, we got the job done, and we're leaving with the W. So those are my two final thoughts for the Chargers and the Chiefs. That's going to wrap up the Dubs Only podcast, this episode of this reaction video with the Chargers and the Chiefs. Appreciate you guys for watching. Stay tuned. We got NFL action, so you know we're going to be talking a whole lot about that. So stay tuned. Appreciate y'all. Peace.